Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. Tonight, President Donald Trump sets the stage for a major confirmation battle.
Trump picks 53-year-old federal appeals court judge Brett Kavanaugh to become the next Supreme Court justice.
Now, if confirmed, Judge Kavanaugh would fill the high court vacancy created by the retirement of Justice Anthony Kennedy.
Mololengi has more tonight on the nominee's background.
There is no one in America more qualified for this position and no one more deserving.
Do solemnly swear.
When Brett Kavanaugh was sworn in as an appellate judge on the D.C. Circuit in 2006, it was Justice Anthony Kennedy who administered the oath. Kavanaugh clerked for Kennedy after receiving both his undergrad and law school degrees from Yale University. He was an assistant to independent counsel Kenneth Starr during the President Clinton impeachment probe. He also served in the White House counsel's office under President George W. Bush, who then appointed him to the bench.
My judicial philosophy is straightforward. A judge must be independent and must interpret the law, not make the law.
At his confirmation hearing in 2006, Kavanaugh said he considered Roe v. Wade settled law.
If confirmed to the D.C. Circuit, I would follow Roe v. Wade faithfully and fully.
Throughout legal circles, he is considered a judge's judge, a true thought leader among his peers.
If confirmed by the Senate, I will keep an open mind in every case. And I will always strive to preserve the Constitution of the United States and the American rule of law.
Even as the president was announcing the nominee, protesters were outside the Supreme Court to denounce it. Mololengi, CBS News, Washington.
The U.S. Senate is expected to vote on Kavanaugh's nomination this fall.
A state judge ruled today all Montana Green Party candidates must be removed from the November ballot. District Judge James Reynolds of Helena says about 80 signatures of registered voters used to certify the Green Party are invalid for a number of reasons. With those names removed, the party does not have enough signatures in at least 34 state house districts. Now, that means none of the 12 Green Party candidates can appear. Democratic Party Executive Director Nancy Keenan says today's ruling strikes a blow against out-of-state Republican dark money groups that she claims helped the Green Party effort. Now, the Green Party could not be reached for comment. It has the option now to appeal to the Montana Supreme Court.
It looks like an attempt by some Republican state lawmakers to call a special session of the Montana legislature is falling short. Those behind a special session say it is needed to undercut two ballot measures, one on tobacco taxes, the other on mining regulations that have already qualified for the November ballot in Montana. The vote for lawmakers to call themselves into special session needs the approval of at least 75 legislators. But as of today, 19 Republicans have already voted no, and that means even if the remaining Republican lawmakers all vote yes, they will need some help from Democrats, which isn't likely to happen. Democratic Governor Steve Bullock has denounced the proposed special session as absurd. And so far, not a single Democratic lawmaker has voted for the special session. The voting by lawmakers on the proposed session will continue this week in ballots sent to the Secretary of State.
Although President Trump is long gone from Montana, his visit last week is still generating plenty of online interest, especially among Treasure State Catholics.
MTN's Tim McGonigal tonight spoke to one of the men of the cloth who now is at the center of a social media storm.
Last Thursday, President Trump made a historic visit to Great Falls to rally support for Republican Senate candidate Matt Rosendale. His speech energized a packed house, while it also stirred up social media with the presence of 4 prominently placed Catholic priests.
You know, I in no way intended for my presence to be like a full-fledged endorsement from the Catholic Church for the president. I don't even stand by all of the president's policies. You know, it was just, the purpose for being there was, I'm pro-life. And
Father Garrett Nelson was one of 2 priests from the Diocese of Great Falls Billings at the rally. The others were from the Diocese of Helena. Bishop Michael Warfel of Great Falls says he was not aware the priests were attending and that the diocese has a clear policy on political activity.
We're not supposed to even be involved in partisan political activity. It's allowable to be involved as a private citizen, but not in a partisan nature.
Father Garrett has known Rosendale for 2 years. When he got the call about getting VIP passes, he says he had no idea they would be so strategically displayed.
And when we got in there, the event organizers found us and they said, "Follow us." And so we went up to the front, and then they seated us right directly in the front row. And so we weren't expecting to be there.
In a statement on Facebook, Bishop Warfel says the priests understand they should not have been dressed in clerical attire, and they apologized for upsetting anyone.
My priesthood is my identity. I'm not, it's not just a job, it's who I am, right? And it was kind of the weighing, back and forth. Do I try and hide that, or do I just be who I am? And in hindsight, that was probably a foolish decision, especially because it could be used for political advancement or political gain on the part of somebody else.
Bishop Warfel says upon review by him and others, he doesn't see the priest clapping at what many perceived as disparaging remarks by the president. Both the bishop and Father Garrett would like to see less social media backlash and more civil discourse. In Great Falls, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.
Now, the bishop says he feels that Father Garrett is doing an excellent job. The other Great Falls priest involved is Father Ryan Erlenbush of the Corpus Christi Parish in Great Falls. Father
Ryan, who grew up here in Billings, was also recently critical of a Billings Catholic Schools fundraiser because 2 volunteers were gay. But Bishop Warfel says Trump's rally and the fundraiser are 2 different issues, and no disciplinary action will be taken.
A standoff in the middle of a U.S. highway between a woman with a knife and officers this weekend ends with a taser. MTN's Mallory Peebles has more on this bizarre story from a sheriff who responded to that scene.
They don't always get to end this way.
In Sergeant Brad Bickler's 15 years of law enforcement, he says you can't tell how a day is going to end by how it starts. It was certainly true this past Saturday.
That was a Saturday afternoon, just a nice summer day. And bad things can happen just that quickly.
Around 11 a.m., a 911 dispatcher says they got a call from a woman saying demons were chasing her and she needed to get back to Georgia. A Park County Sheriff's deputy says she tried to pull the 47-year-old woman over. But a low-speed chase ensued, where authorities say the driver was weaving back and forth between oncoming traffic on a 2-lane highway. So they called in backup, including Livingston Police and Fish, Wildlife, and Park law enforcement. Authorities say when they tried to box her in, she tried to hit an officer.
She didn't actually strike the vehicle, just made a pretty good run at it, and he was able to get his door closed before she got by. So pretty tense situation there.
When authorities say she finally did stop, it was in the middle of a highway, and she got out holding a large hunting knife. Officers say she was threatening them and herself.
So I just tried to talk with her and reason with her some, and she was up and down, so she would settle herself a little bit and then ramp back up again. It became fairly apparent that we weren't gonna get her to just comply and come along with us.
That's when Sergeant Bickler says he made a quick move to get closer and tase her. Park County Sheriff's Office says lethal force was warranted multiple times, but the way things turned out was the best ending for a bad situation.
This is about as positive an outcome as it could have been.
Reporting from Bozeman, Mallory Peebles, MTN News.
Authorities say the woman whose name has not yet been released is from Washington State.
She was brought here to Billings and is currently awaiting a mental health evaluation.
On the weather scene tonight, Bob, we know there's what was a 10,000-acre fire has jumped to a 47,000-acre fire burning near Grable tonight.
We've had some thunderstorms in that area tonight, and that's just fanned those flames. And so we're wondering, what's the deal with the fire here in Montana? Take a look at our fire danger map here, and we'll show you that we have actually increased in fire danger, especially in Billings in south central Montana. It's gone from moderate to high and very high. And you'll notice a lot of your major cities like Havre and Kalispell and even back towards Glasgow, they're doing the same thing, going to high to very high. But everywhere else in the state is generally a low to moderate fire danger at this point in time. Still, it's pretty wet out there, but we are starting to see things dry up, and the closer you get to the cities, the hotter it gets, I see. Anyway, here in Billings, the air quality tonight is what we call moderate. Everywhere else, we're seeing generally good air quality. I think all to the smoke. Basically, seeing some good quality air quality over at Butte. That's just moderate right now as well. But everyone else in the green is generally pretty nice. Our forecast is calling for a heat wave tomorrow. A pretty hot one. We'll talk about it in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob.
Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, he's been spinning records for 60 years, but he tells us retirement is not an option. In a moment, we're looking back in time with Major Dan Miller.
Plus, what better place for death-defying stunts than Las Vegas? Find out how a piece of Butte history found its way to the Strip.
And in sports, Josh Hustis brings his NBA wisdom Home to Montana, hear the advice he shares at his kids' camp.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.